Cold War Zombies was revealed a few days ago, and now that we've all had some time to process it all, I wanted to sit down and have a talk with y'all. Prior to the reveal, I was working on this YouTube series, we'll call it, of what I wanted zombies to truly evolve into from notes that I've kept over the last few years. Now, going into the Cold War reveal, I fully expected the formula to not change from what Treyarch has typically done in the past. But now here we are, Cold War Zombies is revealed, and at least from a promotional standpoint, they are doing everything I was wanting them to do. I personally have never been more excited for a Zombies iteration to release. The reason I'm so excited is because of one simple word: progression. See, as much as Zombies is about killing waves of the undead and surviving, and that should be the focus, it was built up differently than most other horde or survival modes. Ever since perks were introduced in Verrucht, it began to break that mold and shifted more towards that of a roguelike. You don't believe me? Let's start by taking a look at the traditional Zombies formula up till this point. Players load into the game with a bare minimum, just 500 points in the starting weapon. They then kill zombies to earn points. The currency is then used to progress through the map for a bigger play space, which also allows the player to increase their own power, from new options like wall buys, mystery box, perks, gobblegums, pack-a-punch, and etc. While that's all happening, rounds are also being progressed that help determine how difficult the zombies themselves are. Easter eggs also exist, which, if the player can find them, can provide various rewards, but typically in the form of another power upgrade. The last major aspect of the zombie formula is once the player dies, they then will restart from the very beginning with the bare minimum once again. I hope we can all agree that's a very fair, basic explanation for what Zombies has been. Now let's take a look at what roguelikes are and how they are built. To start, we do need to note that every game that falls under the roguelike genre will have certain parts of its formula be different. Typically, this is whether the game is finite or infinite. Fundamentally, however, they are all the same. They start the player with a basic loadout, which they must upgrade or claim new items over time to increase the power through procedurally generated areas. Enemies that are killed reward a currency that can also help empower progression. How difficult those enemies are to kill increases over time based on some defining factor, and that factor typically is either by how long it takes or the number of areas that are cleared by the player. Players can also come across secret areas that, if they can figure out how to access them, can be rewarded through other power upgrades and various rewards. The last major aspect of roguelikes is the concept of permadeath, which is when a player dies, they must then restart the run from the very beginning with only the basics once again. Now, comparing these fundamental structures of zombies and roguelikes together, do you notice anything similar? The structure of them is almost identical. The biggest difference between them, up until now at least, is that in zombies, you hit a brick wall very early on, and your power progression comes to a complete halt. However, in roguelikes, the power progression never truly stops. And now that Zombies in Cold War is embracing more of that never-ending idea with systems like upgradable perks, the weapon rarity system, Uber upgrades that Craig mentioned, whatever else might be coming that we don't know about, the mode can finally evolve, hopefully. Infinite Warfare, World War II, Black Ops 4, and even Call of Duty Mobile all started this push, and Cold War is grabbing all the best aspects from each of these titles and throwing them together. Now, to be fair, we don't know every little detail about all of these systems yet. It could end up being completely different than what it appears to be on paper. Treyarch, however, has set themselves up to be in a great position as long as the final executions of these systems mesh properly with natural gameplay. The one thing I can definitively say is that if too many of these systems depend on quests or objectives over just killing zombies, it will fail. I say this because I've seen lots of people and fellow content creators suggesting ideas for the upgradable perk system, like whenever you have Jug, if you take 100 hits, then Jug gets upgraded. And while that's interesting in theory, it takes the player out of the natural gameplay loop and makes the game become hold the last zombie for 5 minutes while it keeps slapping me, instead of just progressing through rounds like intended. Easter eggs, quests, objectives are fun, and y'all know I love them just as much as the next person. But even I can admit that too many of those systems already exist within Zombies. As much as Cold War is about these new and evolved systems, it's even more about getting back to its roots of zombie killing. and that should even include the new evolve systems that we have for progressing as well. Continuing off the idea of not knowing every little detail about the announced systems, there are still so many big unknowns that we will be looking forward to learning more of that could influence a lot of what the gameplay loop does become. Which point system is going to exist? Are upgradable perks going to give new abilities like Black Ops 4 or improve the base abilities like Call of Duty Mobile? Is there going to be a round cap at 256 anymore? Are mutations going to return? Are there going to be microtransactions like Gobblegums, elixirs, or talismans? What exactly are the rewards going to be, and will they feed back into the gameplay like most roguelikes do? Are zombie health scaling going to be capped or changed from what we've seen in the past? Are zombies going to be able to be held infinitely at the end of a round? And if you walk 2 feet away from a zombie, is it going to respawn, or is it going to be able to just stay where it's at? This list could go on infinitely, but these are just some of the main points that I chose to bring up that I feel most people really want to know. If there is something that I didn't mention that you are really looking forward to for some more answers, please let me know about it down in the comments. For now, however, I just want to reiterate that I am very excited for the release of Cold War. This Zombies mode has me the most excited for a Call of Duty release that I can remember for a very long time. I'm very excited to learn more information whenever it gets officially released, aka not leaked or data mined. I hope y'all have a great day, and remember to always make the smart decisions.